Lep pozdrav vsem človeškim in pasjim obiskovalcem. Toliko še en masterclass v angleščini, tako da lepo pozdravljeni. So hello to all of the human and canine visitors here today. You're in the right place. As you see, she loves to draw dogs, as we've seen in Gallery Alcatraz. So if you'll be around Ljubljana, go to Gallery Alcatraz at Metelkova, you can see Anna Haifisch's exhibition done in collaboration with Andrej Štular. Now we will see in what way she's doing everything we can see. You can also check out her new album on the stand of Streetburger, where Anna could also draw something after, of course, the masterclass. I hope you will have some questions for her. We're looking forward to it. No, maybe. Maybe. So Anna Haifisch is coming to us from Leipzig, and she will tell us more how is it to be a hard-working artist in Leipzig. So please, the stage is yours.
All right. Thank you for coming, and thank you, Tinta, for having me. It's been an amazing festival so far. I want to bring you back, way back, to a time, the embarrassing time for every artist between, like, maybe art school or like unsuccessful times and maybe the early starts. And I thought maybe a couple of students are here, and before I became rich and famous. So I take you really back into the year 2004 to 2011. I studied in Leipzig at the art school, and it's an amazing place. It's famous for printmaking, and that's what I studied there in illustration. And it is kind of also a very traditional art school. Here you see the great anatomy professor. He always brought roadkill and then dissected it for us. And we got to draw all kinds of animals, skeletons and whatnot. And at the same time, I had a job at the art school as an instructor in a screen printing studio, which is really one of my favorite printing techniques. And in the year 2008, I was a bit tired of the very traditional way of illustrating. That's in this art school in Leipzig, but also in Germany. And I always had the urge to go to America, because I thought like all the wild stuff is there, like Gary Penter and a lot of underground artists, and I thought, okay, I don't know how to get there, but if I get there, I need a job, like, because it's there is no funding or anything, like Erasmus is only for Europe. So I printed a poster and wrote a letter on the back and sent it to a screen printing studio in Brooklyn and just asked them, like, do you need a helper? And they were like, sure, yeah, come over. And then I moved in 2008 to Brooklyn and worked in this building. It's not there anymore, like a lot of buildings aren't. But that was called Monster Island, and on the top floor there was the screen printing studio. And it was amazing, because it was such a difference to like my times in Leipzig, like in the art school. Sometimes you discuss stuff forever, discuss a drawing for like 2 hours or something. And over there we really had to produce fast. Like sometimes we drew stuff for posters or flyers and printed it the same night. So it was a wonderful, wonderful clash, and also a wonderful team. They still exist, they had to move of course, but we're all still friends. And this is just like, when I found this photo, I became so nostalgic, because that was before Obama was elected in 2008, and it was like some kind of, campaign, I'm not really, but a punk campaign, like what to think about if you go to vote as an American. This is the building I lived in, my room, and I was there last year, and the rent I think is 4 times more like now, at least, maybe 5 times even. It's crazy. Here I got to know, you see on the right hand side, you see James Turek, a crazy good cartoonist as well, and he also lives in Leipzig now. We're best friends, and we're still drawing together a lot. yeah, this is some stuff I did back in the day, kind of still very eclectic and very like zine-ish. I never really drew a longer comic, just shorter zines like this. Very original, like a cat and a dog, like doing some stuff. So yeah, those were some zines, but I always dreamt of drawing a real comic book one day, but I didn't feel ready yet. I had to learn through a lot of little zines and little stories and a lot of printmaking. So yeah, then I returned to Leipzig after 1.5 years in Brooklyn and graduated, and then the misery began. After I graduated, of course, like everybody, I think, like I had no money, and I had a day job at a warehouse, and it was actually a nice job, like a gorilla could have done it, you know. It was just beeping in clothes and putting them in the storage and whatnot. And on the weekends, I was in this bear costume. Yeah, at that point, that was my lowest point, because I felt like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I want to be an artist, and I'm in this bear costume. Yeah, I mean, that was pure misery. And at that point, I even thought of like, maybe jail is a good place, because like, you get fed, like, food is there, you have time, you don't have to worry about rent. Yeah. And then also I thought like about these mental hospitals, like in America, like the Betty Ford Clinic, where like the celebrities are like having like breakdowns, like Lindsay Lohan with the e-cigarette, and I was, wow, this is amazing. And yeah, and also the Walt Disney Studios. Just when I looked at the early photographs of the studios, I thought like, how amazing is this? And I thought like about a mix of all these three things, like jail, like mental institution, it's somehow a studio set up, and this is how I came up with the very first book that's been translated to Slovenian just this year, and but this is 2015, and yeah, and I invented a perfect place for artists. It's a mental clinic, but it has a penguin pool, it has a pool for other people. It has like a hot dog stand, it has an art supply, it has studios, and like to me, I just drew the perfect place for an artist. And because I didn't want to have the story about myself, I put in the icons of the 20th century. So Walt Disney is in there, like he suffered from a burnout. I mean, it's all fiction, of course, right? And then Tommy Ungerer and Saul Steinberg. And I thought the three of them, it's just a perfect combination, because they're all, I think, or they used to be, I think, kind of difficult personalities. And I also thought at one point I also wanted to include Tove Jansson, the mother of the Moomins, but I had too much respect for her. I think she's a goddess. And like the three of them, I was able to make a bit fun of them, also with a lot of laugh, but with Tove Jansson, I was like, no, I can't. So yeah. So the first book is really about like they all have an existential or artistic crisis, and they hang out at the von Spatz clinic. And yeah, I can read just a little chapter, the advice. So, Walt Disney, Saul Steinberg. Walt, will you have a look at my drawing? And the animal in the middle is nice, with disregard in the background. I have piles of cash. Someone manages it now. Splash. And like the haiku form, like the Japanese poetry, I like it a lot for comics. I often include it in my work because it's just perfect. Like the shortness and also the humor in it and the tragedy in it, I just like it. So yeah, like this book helped a lot, like because I mean it's probably the same in Slovenia as well, but definitely in Germany. Like when you have a book out, you're taken seriously all of a sudden. Like you're like all of a sudden you're an author, like really an artist. And it happened that like in 2016, I got an email from Nick Gazin. Like back in the day, he was the art editor at Vice magazine, the US website, and he asked me if I wanted to do a weekly comic strip. And I almost lost my, I almost fainted. And I said yes, but then also I was like, oh shit, like weekly. I mean, that means that I need to have a good topic or a good thing where I'm like not running out of stories to tell. And I need to think of something where I can really, really tell a lot. And the only thing I knew like, much about is like being an artist. So that's why I came up with the with the artist. That's a comic character, also like a long, frail, shaky bird. And it's really funny that now it kind of the circle closes because back in 2006, Mladen Stilinovic, he's a Slovenian photographer, like he had an exhibition in Leipzig and he showed this work, Artist at Work. And when I looked at it, I thought it's brilliant. And he became a bit of a model for the artist figure. So yeah, and the good thing about a weekly comic is like you become really disciplined, which I wasn't before, but I always had to deliver. I think it was a Monday evening, and until then, just make a comic. And it really helped to get in a very good routine. And yeah, I'm drawing quite traditionally. It's like the sketches, of course, with pencil, and then also with the nib pen. I do the outlines and then I color it digitally. And at the end, it was like every week it was a comic of 3 pages, like 1 cover page and 2 or 3 comic pages. I will read later from this, but this is just an example how it appeared. And yeah, at the end, those strips became books. And I wasn't intending to do this at first because I thought, oh, this format into a book, does it make sense? But somehow it worked for some reason, yeah. So the first 2 books on the left, they are like really traditionally in the strip form. And then the third, you see, that was the thing because I became quite sick of the rigid comic format. Because all the repetition in it, you draw a character 1,000 times, like the artist coming in, the artist opens a door, sitting down, like having a bowl of whatever, Fruity Loops, and I just felt like, oh, it's so tedious to draw everything like 1,000 times. So I thought like the third part of the artist should be a big opera for some reason. I'm not even don't know much about operas at all, but I thought like telling the story of the rise and fall of an artist in a big dramatic opera, that would be amazing. So I wrote a bunch of poems, I mean, one more ridiculous than the other. It was just fun to write songs, and I felt like it's perfect also for the comic form, like poetry or songs or haikus. It breaks up, like the text, it's easy to break it up also for images and drawings. So yeah, these are just, like every act had a different, I always had a bit of a different approach to keep myself entertained. So you have sometimes these elaborate, bigger pages and spreads. And yeah, I was just going with the flow and felt like this is actually really nice to work more free than in this, quite stiff comic format. I will read from that later as well. So yeah, and then the artist books, they came out, and all of a sudden, like, comics were taken into another sphere for me, because a lot of institutions in Germany and also in Europe, like they kind of wanted to have this this figure, this artist figure in their rooms, or like as a mascot, or somehow like they wanted to invite the art critic, something masochistic also. And so like the artist kind of stepped out of this of the books all of a sudden. And yeah, this is a short series I did for Le Monde in France. It was a monthly thing for, I think, 6 issues or something. And yeah, at some point, God, yeah, I got an email from the Museum of Modern Art in New York if I want to draw a series for them, and I thought at first it's spam, like, what the fuck? And I was, why, like, I mean, how is that happening? But at the end, it wasn't spam, and yeah, it was a great opportunity to really step out of the comic niche and into the world somehow. So yeah, that was yeah. Those are just pages from this memo thing. And yeah, hold on, I skipped this. Yeah, because I was talking about the institutions before, and in Germany, like there's a great like museum/gallery in Leipzig. I work a lot with them since then, but like they asked me just to put the characters on their walls somehow, and I was like, sure, no problem, whatever. But I mean, like it's strange because I love to work on paper. I love the 2D world. Like I love the spreads. I like everything that's like 2D and just in front of me. And when it comes to rooms, I'm always a bit lost. But at the end, I think it's this graphic designer Paul Rent. He said it once, like if you can't make it good, make it big. And if you can't make it big, make it red. So I mean, I stopped at the big for a little while. And yeah, there's a Museum Volkwang in Essen. That was actually a really cool thing because that wasn't technically in the museum, it was in their library, in their reading room, and I think that's where the work belongs because it's still so connected to books, and they asked me to fill their walls like in this really nice public room. Yeah, and they also, they had some money like left over, and I thought like that was always my dream to produce those skylines, and I was like, let's do it. Yeah, this is in Osnabrück, also an art space. It's really cool. It's an old church and a new building next to it. It's extremely eclectic and it's really a weird building. But yeah, it was like a lot of fun just to think of sceneries that are just like long images. Yeah, and also, I mean, yeah, coming back to the dogs, I mean, I always love to draw them. I don't own a dog. I don't want to, I think, but I mean, I just love to look at them and to draw them. And there was also some money left over, which was really nice. And like, let's produce some really funky tables. And yeah, this one is in my apartment now. I sit at it every day and have lunch. All right, so yeah, I was talking about the artists, and it's always hard to talk about books without actually seeing them. So I think it's good to read from the book. Oops. All right. So yeah, if the artist, I start with the beginning. My mother was a swan. My father was a crane. I was their only egg. My parents reared their offspring, me, with endless love and patience. At the age of 7, after my Sunday bath, once when my mom combed my hair, I said the 6 fateful words that would lay out my future. Mom, I want to become an artist. There he is now. In case you notice a mild odor of feathers or cat in the room, an artist is seeking shelter behind your oak furniture. A little bowl of Fruity Loops will get him out easily. Be patient. Once the artist emerges, build a nest of twigs. whisper tender things through his feathery light hair. There will always be food, money, and a home for you. Pour Newton's ink over his forehead. Artists consider this as heavily erotic. Handle him with care. Oh God, I'm late. If you know that, it's a wisdom dog. Oh God, I'm so late. Oh hi. No, you didn't wake me up. I'm working on it right now. Just about to send off the files. Okay, talk to you soon. Dear artist, the gallery exhibit committee of our gallery has reviewed your portfolio. Your line is brilliant and sharp. Your colors tickled our shy eyes. Although very childlike, we miss a lightness and playfulness in your work. Your repetitive use of the snake motif, it's really not for us. We feel your strong realistic overtones are not a good fit in our gallery. Please accept these smarties and destroy as a token of our well-wishing. Sincerely yours, the gallery assistant. Are they even talking about? Oysters? Snakes? The other end of the table sits the art editor of Vice. I should make an impression, be eloquent or something. But I have nothing to say. Look at Ivan, fucking king of the table. Now it's 47 minutes without me saying anything. Haha, look how these peas are touching each other, like a caterpillar. Oh no, was that me saying that? This one is about an art residency. Oh God, I can see someone. What is he doing out here? A message in a bottle? Who would do such a thing? To whom it may concern. I appreciate you giving me this quiet studio space and the reading workshop. Bringing me here and providing me with food is really nice of you. The loom in the barn looks very neat. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get there yet. I don't want to sound unthankful or something, but I'm becoming a bit concerned about my supplies. Also, the Wi-Fi password you gave me doesn't seem to work. Maybe you can send somebody to pick me up? I apologize for the inconvenience. Your artist in residence. We've got permission to witness a rare mating ritual between an art collector and an artist. What? As the chosen artist, you better get a haircut before. You want to look crisp, but not too fresh though. Collectors like to inhale the bitter taste of poverty. Smells like Call of the Wild. Ooh, the bourgeois smile of the wealthy. After an obscene lunch, your host will provide you with a light snack which you will find in your sandwich case. Accept every offer. Never ask for anything. Never make eye contact with the collector's spouse. And for the love of God, do not bring your portfolio. Go with the flow. The meeting comes to an end when the artist is given a tale in exchange for his frivolous presence. Express your sincere gratitude. Be the first to leave the scene. Wait for the phone call. On birds. What's happening? What happened to all the aspiring cartoon birds? Alfred J. Clark, hoarder, got evicted from the giant clock he lived in due to neighbor complaints. Lives occasionally in a Rotterdam homeless shelter. The Kellogg's rooster, plastic surgery wrecked his face. Got replaced by a younger rooster from Raleigh, North Carolina. Calimero, stupefied and commercialized, defenselessly laying on his kitchen floor with very little left of him. Donald, going full Tom of Finland on Santa Monica Boulevard, probably still in the closet. Tweety, ruined reputation due to racist slurs on Letterman, dribble coming out of his beak to this date. Roadrunner, full-blown burnout. Big Bird, utterly depressed, never left his nest, barely literate, trapped in a bleak present. Woodstock, got into heroin. Sorry. This episode, the artist had a mental breakdown and had to move back in with his parents. Dear friend, I wanted to let you know that I'm getting better. My days here are characterized by comfortable monotony. I'm spending my afternoons drawing little greeting cards my dad is bringing over to the community center down the street. I had 3 large crickets and a silk rope for lunch. Every evening I'm revisiting my old collection of fruit labels. I had a very noble taste as a child. You won't recognize me next time we'll see each other. I let my hair grow out. I always thought I was someone special. I realized I'm not. Talk to you soon, my friend. Another haiku comic. On the drawing paper it drips from my beak. It is bitterly cold. As I'm gazing out the window of my studio, I'm watching you. Lonely snake, don't cry over your wet sandwich. I feel for you. Little duck, if only your friends remembered it's your birthday today. Poor heron, nobody would sell you a star for your bird money. Garbage weasel, you too could use a little woven cape. Young mouse, you deserve to be happy. Don't let anybody think it's just a rodent's life. Everybody come in, I give you shelter in my chamber of insanity, my nest. So yeah, in the meantime, so these comics were from the first two books, and in the meantime the artist became insanely successful. And now we are stepping into the bird opera, and yeah, I'm gonna read Act 6, Softie. Here's the life I've always longed for. I own so many things. I feel I chose the wrong door. Wealth is pulling down my wings. Greet the mailman, call the plumber. Clean the mousetrap, shoot a mole. Common life is such a bummer. Fruity Loops down in the bowl. Here's the life I never wanted. Little mouse and trap is dead. By Meister I always feel so haunted. Mouse blood paints my carpet red. It's really depressing. I haven't read these out loud. Act 9, I'm a salad. I'm a breadstick. I'm a Fruit Loop. I'm a lentil. I'm a shrimp. I'm a dumpling. I'm a hazelnut. I'm a noodle. Pour vinaigrette over my forehead. Act 3, so forlorn. Walking down in falling rain for something sweet to numb the pain. Soaked in water, drowned in shame, it was myself I had to blame. I dropped my milkshake seeing you, holding hands with someone new. Here I'm left without my crush, in a puddle of vanilla slush. I was blind, but now I see how much your presence meant to me. Empty shelves left on my floor. My peanut laugh walked out the door. Oh yeah, so far so good. Yeah, what time is it? Oh yeah, that's perfect. So maybe if you have some questions. Yeah. Thank you for enduring that.
Does any of you have maybe any questions for Anna at this point? Yes.
So I noticed you have like this really good like way with like how you write humor into your text and how you use poetry, but also in an interesting way. And I was just wondering, like, how do you see script and how the script come to you?
I mean, with this bird opera, I wrote all the poems before, but usually I work like a bit hand in hand. It comes together, like the drawing and the text is, because sometimes I need the character to be drawn in order that I know what this character thinks, and I need to be in this world. So usually I have a bit of a story, or like pretty much all of the story in my head, but not the exact words or something. And I always need to draw a little bit and then have a look at the situation and then put the words in the mouth and then, yeah. So like little by little. But I mean, I really like writing, but it doesn't come so easy to me as drawing. Like drawing feels quite natural, but writing is always, it takes me much longer because I'm not so practiced in it. And, yeah.
Any other questions?
Maybe I was interested to hear, because what you do is basically answering to some stereotypes that we are pretty used to. Like, how does it feel for you? Do you feel a bit like an activist that is kind of pointing out, you know, like this is what we believe, but it may be absurd or maybe like something that we can think more about? Because playing with stereotypes in such a funny way, it makes everyone think about this and how we, like, what do we think about art or being an artist, or not even that, even like what do we think about love, or like how, is there any thought on this, or is it just natural to you to kind of point out the small, look at how we look at it?
I mean, it's a like it's a total niche, of course, the art world, but I think it's a universe like under a magnifying glass that presents, like, I think the times we live in very well. Because I think, like, I mean, I'm a comic artist and I'm a bystander to the arts world. Like, I love to stand in the corner and look at everything, but being part of it, it's so brutal, I think. And I think even the hierarchies in the art world, they're worse than in the army sometimes. I mean, sometimes I think that. But yeah, with the stereotypes, I really like to think of the artist character also as maybe like a little Jesus. Like I sent him through the worst shit, so we don't have to do it, you know. Because when I'm drawing the stories, I always think, like, how can I make it worse, like, for him? And it's really sadistic, actually. Yeah, so he's a bit of maybe the savior, but I don't have no educational or activist point about it. I think it's something to talk about. I think also, I mean, at least what I'm hoping, it's also a bit universal in a way, like being seen in the world. Maybe that's maybe the underlying thing about this character. Like he's fighting so hard to be something, somebody, like and I think that counts. I think for every human being, and I think humor helps. I mean, it's a small it's a small edge between humor and depression, I think. And yeah, maybe maybe that helps.
Robin Williams probably thought the same thing. Maybe too soon. Any other questions? No?
So I feel like lettering and type is a big part of your work, and I wonder how you experiment a lot with typefaces. Do you have friends who are in this world? And yeah, just I think.
Yeah, it was a big part also of my studies at the art school. Typography was always like they tortured us with that, and I mean I went into drawing and kind of discarded typography for a little bit, but I'm sharing a studio in Leipzig with 12 people, and we are all friends, and among them there are 2 great graphic designers, and I love to talk to designers about comics and about pages because they have another eye, and also my friend Amy, who does most of the designs of my books and also is a big help always. Like she's standing on my shoulder and she's like, looks like shit, like make it bigger and like like be more brave, and like, what is this little shit font there? Like, take something else, and it's so helpful. I mean, it's because, I mean, with drawing I feel quite safe, but like with typography I tend to be sometimes too shy with it. And it's good to have somebody who loves letters and who loves like broad, like designs, like really having a look. And also, I mean, I find it quite nice also to draw fonts. It's kind of meditation sometimes. I have another book on the table at Rotopol where I drew signs in LA, and it was mostly just fonts, like designed in a very horrible way, but kind of beautiful again. And just drawing those, like it's giving me so much peace. It's like drawing letters.
There was just this short Croatian comic when guy did a horror manga about how the typography is killing him. So maybe he should meet you and get to talk to you one day. Any other questions, maybe?
Thank you so much for your presentation. What interests me is how do you think will your art evolve in the future? Because you have a very like recognizable style, color palette. Do you feel like you can evolve with this in the future, or do you think at some point you just want to completely break with it and take a completely new direction?
Yeah, I mean, I get sick of myself really quickly. That's why, like, all the books I'm doing, they all look a bit different, because with the artist I took a big break because I couldn't really live in this universe anymore. I became a bit sick of the colors, the character and whatnot. I will return, I'm sure, but it's always, I mean, just for myself, it's always nice to change it up a little bit. And even if, like, the outside world doesn't see it so much, but sometimes it feels like, for myself, it feels like a huge step. I mean, it's strange, it's small steps, but yeah, the next thing I want to do is a children's book, and I have so much respect for it, and I'm a bit scared, and also the way it should look like. I mean, I'm still unsure about it, but it's something that feels, at least for me, extremely challenging. But I like this kind of stuff, because I feel like repeating myself. That's, I think it results probably in shitty drawings and bad stories, from my side. Yeah.
Any other questions? If not, Anna will be signing, signing your books in the next hour, so you can ask her something in person. But otherwise, Anna, we are very glad to have you here at the Tinta Festival, and please let's thank her with a round of applause.
Thank you.
So since she'll be signing now, let me just tell, she's drinking Benedictiner, if anyone was asking and wants to be the first one in the row for signing. But we'll be back here 7:15 for the last masterclass of today with Gregory Panaccione. And please don't leave us afterwards, because we will be giving out the awards at 8:30 also here. So please stay with us till the end. Thank you.